macros are a subject that not everybody is aware of, and it's good for everybody to know them. That's why I'm gonna start from the basics to the advanced skill or level of macroing as a hunter. Let's begin, shall we? The first macro I want to talk about today is the Mouseover macro. Mouseover macro is a template macro that you can use for every ability. It allows you to use abilities in targets that you are not targeting, making you be more effective in your content. For instance, I'm gonna show you how it works. You can target blue and use abilities in green. For instance, if I use my hunter mask, you'll see that I can hunter mask this guy without even targeting him. I'll do the same with blue. I did it. This allows you to be more productive in your gameplay, as I said, and make big plays. For instance, let's say I pull this guy, and for some mistake I pull that guy. Okay, like this. Well, then I could start killing this guy while I slow this one with wing clip, and then kite him like that. And you will never lose any more than a global cooldown by doing so. Another set of macros that I'm gonna show you guys are the pet managing macros. I have like 3 right now and 1 binding, and it's important to you guys to know that you shouldn't be having your dive or your growl automatically activated. You need to have full control of them. That's why dive is self-explanatory. You don't even need a macro, just use bind it. But for the rest, it's important to have some macros, and those are, for instance, the most important ones are the pet attack macro with growl. This macro will make your pet go and attack your target. It's simple, and if you press a modifier in the keybind, in my case is X, it will make your pet come back. It's simple, it's self-explanatory, it's very useful. And in combat, it will, as well as sending the pet to your one target, it will make your pet cast growl in the target, which is very useful for multi-aggroing and being, let's say, self-tank. Another macro I want to talk about is the pet. Well, its name is pet. I'm really creative, as you see, and it should make your pet aggressive. It's not just making aggressive, but whatever. And the good point of this is that if you set your pet aggressive and you clear your target, it will assist your pet. As you see, if my pet is attacking the hyena and I press the macro like that, it will assist my pet and start attack, which is really useful in some cases that you want to just assist your pet because of aggro or whatever when you are AoEing. Another macro that I want to talk about is the dance that is called baile in Spanish, which is, let me fear this guy real quick. Okay, if I send my pet with dive to there and I press my macro of baile, you'll see that my pet starts dancing like that in the same spots. Well, it should be same spots. Sometimes it bugs out, but the utility of this macro is make your pet be max ranging and backing. This macro is especially useful against fights like Marathon Princess solo content, when you want your pet to be at close range for your main pet, but as well ranging the boss. So I created this macro just for that situation. If you watch my video of solo content of Marathon Undergeared, you'll see that I use some kind of strategy, and this is the macro that is behind. Another macro I want to show you guys is the auto shot macro. It's very simple, but a lot of hunters are not using it, and it's weird. It feels weird actually when you're not using it. Let's try it. Let's test it out. I'm gonna get some aggro from this hyena with my pet real quick. Okay, and you'll see if I press auto shot and I spam it, sometimes it works out and it should be working out, but it's doing some weird stuff, right? It's like doing the animation really weird. I'm spamming it, but if I spam, let's make it up. If I spam my auto shot macro, which is this one, you'll see that it's clear. It's not bugging out or doing something else, which is really useful. I highly recommend you to get this. As well, as you may notice in the whole video, I'm putting /dismount in almost every macro because I'm not using the add-on to auto dismount. I don't know how it really works, but I'm working fine with macros with dismount, so I don't need anything else. This macro, as you see, is very comfortable and it allows you to not feel that you are buggy or whatever when you auto shot. It's really useful. And as well, you will never disable your auto shot if you can't do it, because since level 1 I'm using this macro, so I don't really know how does auto shot work actually. But this macro is saving you mistakes or other things that you may experience with not macros. Whoops. And the last macro I want to show you guys are the trap macros. Trap macros are buggy in vanilla, I mean in classic, but they still doing their job. I felt that they bug out in PvE content due to the nature of mob tagging and mob aggroing, but in PvP I can tell you guys that they work perfectly and awesome. Let's test it out with my freezing trap. I'm gonna explain you how it works. Basically, traps can't be used in combat, and feign death takes you out of combat. It's self-explanatory, right? Well, so what this macro does is set your pet passive and pet follow just in case, only in combat, because if you are not out of combat you don't want to bother your pet, right? So it casts freezing trap at any case, assuming that it will be always out of combat, and if you are in combat it casts feign death, allowing you to cast freezing trap in that combat gap, in that no combat gap. As well, it makes you stop cast, whatever, okay? So let's test it out, guys. If I tag this hyena with my pet and I'm hitting her like that, I guess I need to time it with the swing, but let's test it out. You see, I landed the trap here, so yeah, it worked. Sometimes it bugs out because if your pet takes damage from a guy and it enters combat, it makes you get in combat as well. So you have, let's say, from my experience, 0.25 seconds to make it. It requires luck, skill and vision, whatever. Even more in high mob pools. But you see, it can be used for traps in PvP. It should be used for explosive trap in PvE content, at least for Sulfarak and every run you may experience. For instance, in SM Cathedral is very useful. You can make high tons of DPS with that. And to master it is a must if you wanna do a competent DPS hunter. Another thing I forgot to mention is the bug ratio of feign death. There is reported bug regarding feign death. It comes when you move the camera with your mouse hidden. If you are moving while you press feign death, see the cooldown. It uses feign death, but you are not doing feign death, right? So you need to be really careful whenever you try to land some trap with that, because it's not very funny when you are in combat and you want to do a big damage or just land a trap or whatever, and you waste your feign death and nothing happens because you have no way to escape from that. You have no way to do damage. You waste your 80 mana, breaking your 5-second mana rule, and everything fucks up. So never move when you use feign death because it bugs out. And that's it for the video. If I feel that something is missing, I'm gonna say it in the comments. Let me know if you don't understand something from the macros. I can reply in the comments as well. And well, I have to thank you for watching it full. Please recommend it to your hunter friends if you see that they suck and they could improve with this video. And it's been a pleasure for me to give you that information. As always, thanks for watching, and I'm leaving you guys with a random clip. See ya!